What's going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning back into the channel. Just wanted to do a quick video today on something that I hear quite a bit, and I really think it's comical. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel down below. Did Antiochus Epiphanes fulfill Daniel chapter 12? Antiochus Epiphanes was a character that it was in correlation to the Maccabees, and he is someone that would have been on the scene during our intertestamental period between the 400 years between the Old Testament and the New Testament. And a lot of people like to point to Daniel chapter 12 and say that Antiochus Epiphanes fulfilled Daniel chapter 12. I don't think so. And if anybody asks you that or tells you that, let me just give you a couple reasons as to why. When Don Preston debated Jason Wallace, this was something that came up. This was kind of the route that Wallace tried to take. I recently had somebody try to take this route with me over the phone a couple months ago. But just food for thought here. Think about the things that happen in Daniel chapter 12. Okay? Number one, if Antiochus Epiphanes fulfills Daniel chapter 12, then verse 2 has to be fulfilled. And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, some to everlasting shame and contempt. Okay. If Antiochus Epiphanes fulfills Daniel chapter 12, the resurrection has to happen during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. Does anyone want to say that the resurrection happened during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes? No. If Daniel 12 was fulfilled during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, then the resurrection happened, and that would also mean that the judgment happened during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. Does that happen? No, absolutely not. Furthermore, if it had happened, why does the New Testament continually prophesy and say that this would happen in the future writing of the time of Jesus, who brings these things up, Matthew chapter 13, and all throughout the apostolic writings in the epistles, specifically in Paul's writings? Verse 3 says, "Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament." Jesus quotes this in Matthew chapter 13. If this has already happened, why is Jesus quoting it? And I had someone tell me, well, he's simply just referencing it. No, friends, he's quoting it, applying it to the future. Also, I would point out that Paul does similar things as he quotes this in the future. "And those who turn many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book until the time of the end." Okay, the end of what? Well, if you're going to make all your connections, this is going to be the time of the end of Daniel 2 and the time of the end of Daniel 7, which, by the way, happens to be the judgment and the resurrection as well, when they're seated on thrones and the nations are brought before them, and the time of the end of Daniel's 70 weeks. Did Daniel's 70 weeks end in the time of Antiochus Epiphanes? No. Had the kingdom of God come then, if Daniel, remember, Daniel 2 said that the kingdom of God would be set up in the days of those kings, which was the days of the Fourth Empire, which would be Rome. Was the Roman Empire set up, and had the kingdom of God yet come during the days of those kings in Antiochus Epiphanes' time? The answer is no. There's so many problems with this, it's not even funny. Like, the fact that this is a conversation, it really blows my mind. Let's continue, though. If you want to go down, then you can have, you've got your times time and half a time. You've got your Great Tribulation that happens for 3.5 years at the end of Daniel 12. Did the Great Tribulation, they want to make the claim the Great Tribulation happened then? If so, why is Christ predicting it in the future and in the Olivet Discourse? And why does the book of Revelation continue to predict it in the future? Or are you simply going to say that they're referencing that again? That doesn't work. That's not going to fit. Daniel 12:13 says Daniel rises to his inheritance at the end of the days. Okay? If that happened, did Daniel come out of the grave? Which a lot of these people are going to say it's got to be a physical resurrection. Did Daniel physically come out of the grave during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes? What are we doing? I'm not following. Okay, if you want to say it was spiritual, did Daniel spiritually come out of the grave during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes? If so, how? Because Paul connected the resurrection and the defeat of death in Hades to the passing away of the law in 1 Corinthians 15. There's just a trillion contradictions with this view. It doesn't work on any level. It doesn't work on any level at all. All right, let's see it again. Verse 7 says that this would be the time when the power of the holy people had been completely shattered. Question: did the Jewish Old Covenant economy last? Was it around after the time of Antiochus Epiphanes? Yes. This cannot be fulfilled during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. This view absolutely gets obliterated when you read the New Testament. Here's why people are trying to use this. They are looking for any way around this whatsoever. And the problem is when you put the fulfillment of Daniel 12 in the future of the New Testament audience, you have to then take the time statements as immediate and in that generation, and they're looking for every way around that as possible. So if they can defeat it on the front side, then they'll use whatever they can. Don Preston destroyed Jason Wallace on it. This view has zero merit at all. It cannot work. It does not work. It's completely unscriptural and unbiblical. So when someone brings that up to you, because if you talk to enough people, somebody's going to try to bring up Antiochus Epiphanes and say all of this was fulfilled during that time. It is impossible to harmonize that with the New Testament. Thanks for watching the channel today. Like and subscribe down below.